Ethan was desperate for work when he took the janitor job at Westfield High. The school was old, built in the 1950s, with flickering lights and a boiler room that groaned like it was alive. The pay was decent, but the hours were brutal. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., cleaning classrooms, hallways, and bathrooms while the building sat empty. Or so he thought. The ad had been vague, just a line about reliable night staff, but Ethan didn't ask questions. He needed the money, and mopping floors seemed straightforward enough. His first night started quietly. The head custodian, a grizzled man named Carl, gave him a quick tour, handed him a ring of keys and warned him to stick to the schedule. Carl said, "Don't wander." Carl's eyes lingered on Ethan. "And don't go in the old wing. It's locked for a reason." Ethan nodded, assuming it was asbestos or structural damage. Old schools were full of hazards. Carl left him with a walkie-talkie and a mop, the heavy front doors locking behind him. The school felt different alone. The hallways echoed with every step, and the fluorescent lights buzzed like angry insects. Ethan started in the main building, scrubbing desks and emptying trash cans. By 1 a.m., he was in the cafeteria, the smell of bleach mixing with the faint grease of yesterday's lunch. That's when he heard it. A faint tapping, like a pen against a desk, coming from the hallway. He froze, mop in hand, listening. The tapping stopped, then started again, rhythmic and deliberate. He grabbed the walkie-talkie, but Carl didn't answer, just static. Ethan told himself it was pipes or the building settling. He wasn't a kid scared of shadows. He was 24, practical, skeptical. Still, he checked the hallway, his flashlight beam cutting through the dark. The sound seemed to come from the direction of the old wing, a sealed-off section at the school's east end. The double doors leading there were chained, a rusty padlock glinting in the light. The tapping stopped as he approached, and he laughed it off, nerves getting the better of him. The next night the tapping was back, louder, joined by a faint hum, like someone singing under their breath. It came from the old wing again, and this time, Ethan noticed something new. The padlock on the doors was undone, the chain loose on the floor. His stomach twisted. He hadn't touched it, and Carl had the only other key. He radioed Carl, his voice shaking, but got static again. Against his better judgment, he pushed the doors open, the hinges screaming in protest. The old wing was a time capsule. Dust coated the lockers, and the air was thick with mildew. Faded posters from the 80s hung on the walls, curling at the edges. The tapping was clearer now, coming from a classroom at the end of the hall. Ethan's flashlight caught glimpses of overturned desks and chalkboards smeared with illegible scrawls. He called out, half expecting a homeless person or a prankster, but no one answered. The hum grew louder, words forming. Unseen entity, stay, soft and insistent like a lullaby. Didn't. He reached the classroom, its door ajar. Inside, the tapping stopped, but the hum continued, vibrating in his chest. The room was empty except for a single desk in the center, a notebook open on it. Ethan approached, his boots sticking to the grimy floor. The notebook was new, its pages filled with his name, written over and over in different hands. Some neat, some frantic, some in red ink that looked wet. He slammed it shut, his heart racing, and backed out, locking the door behind him. When he told Carl the next evening, the old man's face went pale. "Carl, you went in there? I told you to stay out." Carl explained the old wing had been closed since 1987, after a fire killed a teacher and 2 students. The school rebuilt the main building but left the wing untouched, a memorial of sorts. "Carl, people hear things, voices tapping. Some say it's them, still stuck." Ethan laughed, uneasy, saying he didn't believe in ghosts. Carl just shook his head. "Carl, it's not ghosts you should worry about." Ethan tried to quit, but the school's HR office was oddly insistent, citing a contract he didn't remember signing. He needed the job, so he stayed avoiding the old wing. But the sounds followed him. The tapping echoed in the main building now, in empty classrooms and locked closets. The hum became a whisper calling his name, always just out of sight. He started finding notes, slips of paper in his mop bucket, his jacket pocket, even his truck, all with his name scrawled in that same red ink. One night, desperate for answers, he searched the school's archives in the library, a dusty room no one used. Buried in a box of old records, he found a newspaper clipping about the fire. The teacher, Miss Harrow, had been beloved, known for her late-night tutoring sessions. The article mentioned rumors of a third student, never officially reported, who'd been with her that night. No body was found, but a janitor claimed he'd seen a figure in the flames reaching out. The janitor quit soon after, refusing to return. That same night, Ethan's walkie-talkie crackled to life at 3 a.m., not with Carl's voice but a woman's, soft and pleading. Unseen entity. "Help us, Ethan. We're still here." It came from the old wing. He tried to ignore it, mopping the gym with his hands trembling, but the lights began to flicker, plunging the room into darkness. The tapping surrounded him now, coming from the walls, the ceiling, the floor. The whisper grew louder, overlapping voices chanting his name, pulling him toward the old wing like a tide. He couldn't resist. He unlocked the chained doors, his flashlight shaking as he entered the classroom again. The notebook was still there, open to a new page. This time, it held a drawing, a crude sketch of him, standing in the room, surrounded by 3 figures with hollow eyes. The hum was deafening now, the air thick with that metallic smell. He turned to leave, but the door slammed shut, the lock clicking into place. Something moved behind him, not a person, not a shadow, but a presence, heavy and wrong. The flashlight died, and in the dark he felt it, fingers brushing his neck, cold and deliberate. The voices whispered, "Unseen entities, stay with us." And the tapping became a pounding, shaking the room. Ethan screamed, clawing at the door, his nails splintering the wood. He didn't know how he got out, but he woke in the parking lot at dawn, his keys clutched in his hand, his shirt soaked in sweat. He never went back. He left his truck, his tools, everything, and hitchhiked to the next town. The school called, left voicemails about his contract, but he blocked the number. He found a new job, a daytime one, far from Westfield. But the notes still appear sometimes, slipped under his apartment door, tucked into his mailbox, always with his name in red ink. At night, when the world is quiet, he hears the tapping, faint but growing closer, and he wonders how long he can keep running from the night janitor's shift.